Hey guys, we're back in my office for another video. So, you saw the last video, hopefully. You know this is a long bone. Maybe you even know this is a femur. Maybe you even know this is a left femur. It's from a lab exam. It's got a piece of tape still stuck on it. I hate it when people don't clean up after themselves. Ridiculous. All right, so got a long bone, we got a femur. Okay, very good at resisting forces like this. The compact bone here in our diaphysis has these columns of bony tissue in it. So long bone, diaphysis, has columns of bony tissue. They're oriented in this direction, all right? And that's going to give them nice compressive force here, okay? These columns in long bone, these columns in long bone, there we go. They're microscopic. We'll look at microscopic images of them later. They're called osteons. So they're kind of like the fundamental unit of our long bone structure that we have here. So what I'm going to do is show you one osteon. This is an osteon model. All right, notice we have the cylinder right here. This cylinder and all of its contents is an osteon. There would be a tremendous number of parallel osteons running along this long axis of the long bone. Okay, so here's our osteon model. Notice we've got this circular structure. We have a bunch of circles actually. We have a lot of concentric circles. Let me put the cap on my pen here so I don't write on my model. Hate it when people do that, totally. So here we've got our osteon model. There is a space right here in the center. Space is actually occupied by some blood vessels and a nerve. The space is called a central canal, and it's right in the middle of an osteon. The central canal is surrounded by concentric layers of bony matrix. Concentric meaning they share the same center. So they're kind of, think about rings around a target, bullseye, that sort of thing. So these are concentric rings, concentric layers of bony matrix. We don't say layers in this class. We use a fancier word. The fancier word is lamellae. So these rings of bony matrix are known as concentric lamellae. They surround a space called a central canal, and we see in that space we've got an artery, a vein, and a nerve. We also see some empty spaces kind of in between the rings, and we see some spaces that contain cells. These cells are called osteocytes. The spaces in which the osteocytes reside are known as lacunae. Remember we met lacunae when we did hyaline cartilage, which was a while ago. So, looking at a fundamental feature of long bone structure, we find columns in our long bone, in our diaphysis, oriented along the long axis to provide strength and strong resist compressive force. Those columns of bone, they're microscopic and they're known as osteons. So we have one osteon model here. It consists of a space called a central canal, occupied by a vein, an artery, and a nerve. And that space is surrounded by concentric layers, concentric rings of bony matrix. And these rings of matrix are known as concentric lamellae. Within the lamellae, we do see little spaces here. Those little spaces are lacunae, one would be a lacuna. And the lacunae are where the osteocytes reside. These red guys are the osteocytes. Now, osteocytes were once osteoblasts, and they were makers of bone matrix, and then they get surrounded and they end up in the lacunae, and they're osteocytes. Osteocytes are really dynamic and active cells, though. They're constantly monitoring the stresses upon bone so as to deal with that, to adapt to that, to decide, well, where do we need to build new bone? Where do we need to take bone away? And so the osteocytes, they're trapped in bone matrix, but they need to exchange signals. They need to exchange nutrients, wastes, that sort of stuff. So what you'll actually notice are all these little red lines coming out of the osteocytes here. All these little red lines. These osteocytes have these arms and legs, these extensions called filopodia. And They run through tiny little channels in the bone, and those tiny little channels are called Canaliculi. So right in here, I'm scraping against some Canaliculi. There's some Canaliculi. Those little spokes. One would be a Canaliculus, and they are the little channels in which the arms, the red arms over here, in which the arms of the osteocyte are going to reside. All right. Now, on this model, there's actually another osteon starting over here. It would be going kind of, I can't even do this with my hand. It would be kind of going around over here, going out this way. And there's actually a couple layers of matrix that don't belong to any osteon. So in between one osteon here and another one over here, we have some random layers of matrix. These are known as interstitial lamellae. They're in between other osteons. I think, and we got to have some more of them over here as well, right here. Because here's another, let me hold it up, another osteon, pieces of another osteon right here, and some more interstitial lamellae over here. Cool stuff on the side. We can see lacunae on the side. We can see their canaliculi. This is a nice view to see all that. We can see osteocytes as well with their extensions inside canaliculi. And yeah, I think that's it. All right, see you for the next one. Bye-bye.